Because I
Yep.
feel like D Live was kind of like that. Where, because when I tried it out, it was very interesting on how my start was when I actually was dabbing in it just to see what it was like. Because I was like really curious. Just the fact that, okay, the first stream that I jumped in, and then I was bombarded by so many interesting different people that was actually a big part of D Live, and they was encouraging the people that actually, joined their platform, which was very interesting. They had a Discord and everything. I would say the challenge with that is how often are they going to try to do that? Because it's almost as if the creators, like the people that are behind D Live, they have to literally help build that strong foundation in regards to community. Because it could be like, oh, we're going to hype all these people up and get them interested in the platform, but the problem is they're going to have to make sure that they keep that up, because you know how easy it can be for content creators or inspiring content creators to be interested in trying it, and then when they do it and they feel like that they're not getting any kind of success, they're gonna let it go early. Just like how you mentioned a long time ago, Dino, that like, oh, there's a lot of people out there that went back when YouTube was still thriving, that there was a lot of people out there that was really interested in giving it a shot, and they didn't even get to 100 subscribers yet, and they already quit. And it's like, cool
Mm.
thing about D Live is, they got people going, but the issue is what happens when they kind of like wean people off of that. Like, it's like almost as if the content creator is kind of on their own. Because Fez said something interesting about D Live, and I noticed it when I was using it, where D Live is like concentrates a lot more on the games that are currently trending. Like, if you was,
Yeah.
let's say you try to do retro stuff, you're not going to get anybody on that, because I remember doing some retro stuff and I got very few people to jump in there. Now for me, you know that doesn't bother me too much because I'm not worried about how many viewers that I get. But in the long run, somebody else, it just depends on mindset. So if they look at that, they may easily get discouraged if they went, let's say they did like 10 streams, and like the first three streams did really well, but all the rest of them stunk. Like, maybe they felt like, oh god, I only got like one zero viewers or some junk like that, and then they might just be able to abandon ship. So it's like, what are the developers of these platforms doing to help keep it thriving? It's like crazy how all these X factors can just throw you in the loop.
I think
Yeah.
it like it probably does have to do with like how the creator in general like goes about their own channel, because I'm not name dropping anybody, but I do have a friend that does still stream on all four platforms and is still going to stream on YouTube till he said quote unquote it implodes. So he's just going to do what he's got to do, he's not really stressing the major picture, and I mean I guess he's carefree about it. So I mean, it's all situational, If you if you enjoy what you're doing, then nothing's gonna stop you from doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? No matter what analytics say, and like, uh, I don't know. You should. Y'all got it.
Yeah.
It definitely makes sense though what you're trying to say, because it definitely at the end of the day it definitely comes down to like the creator's mindset and how they want to go about it, as far as like just trying to make the best of the situation, just having fun with it. Or you have some people that look into the analytics a lot, and that can really affect their um way of going about content creation. It can really uh just sway it in a negative way. So it definitely a good point that you brought up, as far as like it coming down to the creator's mindset towards the grand scheme of things.
I know he mentioned something about multiple platforms. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good thing to talk about. What do you guys think about simultaneously streaming?
So it's good for, I guess, like the experience to try to meet and maybe reach out and see what type of an audience is out there or whatever. But because of, I guess our soon to be topics, I'm on Twitch. So, you know what I mean? So in general, yeah, I mean, I think it's good to reach out and maybe draw an audience to a central spot would be probably the best thing. But like, I never really connected with anybody on D Live or Mixer. So I pretty much just bring everybody from YouTube and was like, hey, let's go to Twitch. And if you want to hang out, come hang out. If you don't, then I'll see you around,
Right.
I'll say this about streaming, because there was a brief time where I think I did a couple of multi-stream, or restream streams, and I remember me and Dino had a talk about this over probably about 2 years ago. It's been just about that long, and
It's been a while.
yeah, and we had a very in-depth conversation about this, and it's the fact that yes, restream expands your reach,
Yes.
but when the most important thing, at least to me, is community, it hurts more than helps. Some people, when they stream, granted, do not focus on the community, and to each their own. In my personal opinion, when streaming, community is the most important aspect. And I know that's how it is with a lot of us in this call currently. So
yeah, I love the people.
with Restream, you have to take into an account that your community is being split, because you have a chat here, you have a chat over here over at A, you got a chat at B, you got a chat at C, and they're all talking to the same streamer, but none of them can connect because you see what I'm saying? Like, none of them can connect because they're in different chats, and I think that's a very deadly thing. I think that can hurt you more than help you, because if they're together in one chat, whether like if you're streaming just on Twitch and your chat can connect and meet each other and welcome each other and be positive with everybody and ask questions and everything, that makes the community so much stronger. And I think that alone makes it worth dealing with the reach of one specific website. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. To add on to what you're saying, the split is real. In the beginning, it may not feel like that, especially depending on what you're playing. Let's say, for example, you main Twitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you pick a game that's not necessarily the most banging in terms of like the people in your community actually being interested in watching it. Let's say, for example, you was to do a game and you get, I guess, like 5 people watching, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you restream on, let's say, YouTube, but there are people on YouTube that is, maybe the numbers are bigger just because they know that you're streaming on there. It always comes down to preference. But the thing is, the undeniable truth is, after a couple streams, that's going to change drastically, because it's like, if you're maining a platform and you're building that momentum, especially if you get hit by a raid on your main platform, obviously the focus is going to be more on the group of people that's your main. It's like you're not trying to single out the people that's watching on the other platforms, but chances are it's going to happen, or you're not going to be able to engage with the other platforms as much, and it's going to create that split. You may have some people that's going to be like, I just want to watch them, but then you're going to have the other people that want to interact with you, and they're not getting that level of engagement that they used to get, and it's going to turn them off. I mean, like, that's what Flash is talking about when they say that split, that rough divide. Because I did it a couple of times, and it's like weird. It's like Restream has this thing where like comments from the other platforms could pour in to your main chat, which would help with that. But I still feel like there's that disconnect there because one person would say something from a different platform and then you respond to that, but the other people in your main chat is like, what is he talking about? That sort of thing is pretty weird,
Yeah, because like the streamer itself, they kind of focus on them chatting with the viewer, but I think one of the biggest parts is the viewers chatting with the viewers.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing too. If anything, that's the main thing, because they bring conversation in a stream.
Right. Exactly.
So like if your conversation is starting from another platform, the streamer says something, then someone tries to say something. If anything, it's like the viewer is just talking to the streamer, and like they have no idea who's the other person saying it on the other side.
Yeah.
Like they can see it on the screen, like it's not with them. Like it's not like a physical place. So
Right.
I've had, no lie, I've literally had that same thing happen where I would be like, oh, who you talking to? Oh yeah, it's so and so on Mixer. I'm like, oh man, like
and
it is a confusing thing. It's very confusing, and it's very, it's sort of annoying to have to deal with, on a daily basis,
For sure.
Yeah.
Like there's ups and downs to it, to where you get to interact with people, and let's say that you're not really that social, and you really don't talk to people. Maybe if you're on 4 different platforms, and maybe if you at least get 1, maybe 2 people, on one of those platforms to come out or at all right, you're at least testing your own, your own voice skills, your own speech, skills and stuff,
Mhm.
Right. Now, me personally, I never used Restream, so I can't really go from experience standpoint on this, but just thinking about it and going with talks with with you guys about it for a good while now, just even a thought about trying to go through like multiple platforms at one time can be like really it really be tiring, because you really like multitasking and going through like 2 to like how many ever chats that you're going through at one time. It could be kind of mind-boggling, and trying to like focus on whatever you're focusing on with game or whatnot. But yeah, the grand scheme of things, as far as like, it's just splitting up communities. And if you're trying to build a legit community, a solid one at that, you don't want to kind of have that split using Restream. But again, it depends on the person and what they're trying to reach at the end of the day. So it's really to each their own in regards to that.